Thank you for listening to me. And I really want to thank, first of all, on the Revel, Jacoby, Peter, Lulu, I mean, the whole team. It's really fantastic. There's so much that goes into making these, but you guys really don't care. So, okay, I am here to talk about predatory lending practices. Well, let me back up. My name is Jennifer Cabrera. I'm an attorney with Vicente Cederberg. We were founded in 2010. All we do is cannabis, hemp, and psychedelics. That's it. So we're based out in Denver and all the legal markets. I joined in 2019 and I launched our New York office. Okay, so the benefit is that I've been able to talk to people doing this in other states. Okay, so you ought to, show of hands. How many of y'all want to apply for a retail license? How many of you want to apply for any kind of license? All right, cool. So the conventional wisdom in cannabis is that it's expensive to get a license, right? Like talking to Tremaine, right, earlier, which was really cool, she thinks that you can do it cheaper in New York. But I'm going to give you the numbers that I am familiar with from other states. Could be cheaper here. For a retail license, you're looking at about $1.5 million to get through your first year of operations. You could do it cheaper, but like build out costs money, security, payroll. There's just a lot that goes into it. Also compliance. There's a lot of money you're going to spend on compliance, whether it's in-house or a law firm you work with. If it's cultivation, like forget about it. Like you're looking at like 5 to 10 million or so, like or more if you're going for a really big space. So you need money. So when you hear like established business gurus talk about when they form their first company, often they talk about their friends and family round, right? So I don't know about you, but I don't have any friends or family that have 1.5 million to give me for this. Forget about a cultivation. So if you don't have the money to self-finance this, you are looking at going to the private market because banks, they're not going to give you anything. And also, I mean, like a very good point is that if you're a new business, banks aren't going to lend to you anyway. So, up front, right now, when this is a dream, this is an idea in your head and blood, sweat, and tears going towards it, you don't need all that much. You don't need to overcomplicate this. Form your LLC yourself. If you have a family lawyer or like your brother's a lawyer, use him. Like you don't have to over-lawyer this, I say as a lawyer. But you are going to have to, once you're looking to raise money. Then, oh my God, you freaking need a lawyer. You need your own lawyer, and it gets more complicated. So like, where are you gonna get this money? Let's say you have someone who comes to you and they're like, I'm going to give you $1 million for 49% of your company, so you retain ownership. What do you wanna be on the lookout for? Well, let me back up. So there are different ways you can raise money. You can do it as equity, debt, or some hybrid of that. Equity, you're giving shares in your company. If it's a corporation, it's shares. If it's a LLC, they're membership units. And you're sharing equity. If it is, and they can pay for it, they don't have to pay for it. It could be sweat equity. If it's debt, then you are being loaned money and you have to repay it with interest. And loan agreements are long. It is hard to get debt right now. If you're pre-licensed, you're pre-operational, it's going to be hard to get a loan. If you do, even for the operational companies, like interest rates are like 15% or higher. So, you're looking at pretty high. And also, it's just not going to be available. So you're probably looking at an equity investment. But there are a couple other options. You're going to see convertible notes. Those are basically a loan that can convert into equity sometime in the future. And it's usually at a predetermined price. Or you can have an option agreement where an investor is paying you money for the option of getting equity in the future. So those are common. So let's say this is structured as debt. What do you want to look out for? Or no, let me back up. I want to talk about equity first, because that's more likely you're going to face that. So you have an investor, like I'm going to give you $1 million, I want 49% of your company. If they want anti-dilution protections, do not give it to them if you can avoid it. Because if they cannot be diluted, it means if you need to raise more money down the road, that's coming out of your half of the pie, not theirs. Someone else is giving you $5 million for 20% of the company, that brings you down. It doesn't bring the other guy down. So they cannot be protected against dilution. Everyone has to share in it together. Also, you need to look at whether there's any, just generally this is you really need to be kind of careful about like the operating agreement. Who's in charge? Who has control? You need to make sure that you're compliant with the rules there on that. If this is debt, is there a personal guarantee? That's very common that someone wants a personal guarantee if they're loaning you money. So who is the one who's put their name on the line? Are you going to share it among all the founding members? If you're bringing on someone who's like contributing some money, are they going to share in that personal guarantee? I mean, ideally, yeah, right? You're going to be partners. Another thing with loans you want to look for, is there a prepayment penalty? That means if you repay the loan early, are you on the hook? Do you have to pay them a penalty for having done so? Or you have to pay the full amount of the loan and all possible interest. There are a lot of fees that can come with loans, and this is where you just need to have your lawyer reviewing it. Now, it can't be your uncle who does trust and estates. No, this is a lawyer who is familiar with New York contract law. So don't use a California lawyer, use a New York lawyer. It doesn't need to be like a cannabis expert when you're looking at this stuff. All right, so where did I want to go with this? Once you are in this situation and you're bringing on money, how are you going to be working with them? Another option that you're going to see often is management agreements. You're going to see management agreements. This is where someone comes in and is going to run your business for you in exchange for a percentage of your profits or a flat fee. Management agreements are allowed in most states. Right now, there's no ban on it in New York, but you can't be a manager across the tiers, so to retail and cultivation. All right. So with management agreements, we need to see what New York's rules are on that. If you have someone coming to you that wants to have a franchise agreement or arrangement or something else like that, you can't finalize the terms of it because New York's regulations aren't finalized. So that's another thing. Another way that money leaves a business is real estate. One thing that was popular a few years ago were sale leasebacks, where your investor is going to purchase the property for you and then lease it back to you, usually getting some equity or some other percentage in that process. That may not be as popular now that mortgage interest rates have gone up, but still, you're going to see it often. Or IP licensing. If they're licensing their SOPs and their brand to you, you're going to see that often. Basically, as you work with a lot of the investors in the cannabis space, they are trying to diversify their holdings, right? They want to have a little bit in a lot of different businesses, and they want to be across the different tiers. New York is trying very, very hard to restrict that. A lot of states do, but New York is taking this super seriously. So you're going to see a lot of companies trying to structure around it. And that's where it's just important to keep up on the regulations and what they say and so forth. Anyway, that was the end of my talk on that. Oh, thank you. Just one thing I wanted to say, because I forgot to say at the beginning, I was too excited to start talking. It was really cool. I wish I'd said hi to Alex. But I'm also a first-generation Cuban American, except I grew up in Newark. So I'm a Jersey girl. Sorry. But my family was all around this area, and also my family all smoked all around me all the time. So it was a very, I don't know if it's a Cuban thing or I don't know, but we're stressed out people.